Me once again here on Talk and Fight for another episode of Boxing News Today. And today we're going to start talking about the heavyweights once again. Not for any particular reason, with the exception that the headlines across the world are screaming heavyweight. Whether it's controversy, issue, whether it's chatter, quotes, opinions, the heavyweights, the glamour division are once again dominating headlines, mainly due to the recent fight between Tyson Fury and Oleksandr Usyk. Uh, as you may have noticed, Oleksandr Usyk was sporting a couple of shiners and also had to visit hospital after his bout with Fury. And as a result, potentially, of that hospital visit, has been banned by the BBBOC from fighting until July. So, notwithstanding that decision, it looks like quite possibly he will lose his IBF title and allow Filip Hrgovic to go battle Daniel Dubois. So let's have a quick look around where this all kind of starts from my perspective. And it all kind of starts with that peculiar headline and story that I revealed yesterday with respect to the 20 million plus, because I doubt 20 million people were sitting individually watching their screens around the world. I'm pretty sure they would have had a few friends over to watch the clash between Fury and Usyk. So 20 million illegal streams, illegal views taken away from the broadcasters on the pay-per-view side of things who had paid for those rights to stream that particular fight or series of fights. So they lost out on X millions of dollars. I think, what did I quote yesterday? Close to 100 million, I think. The point of the matter is now I see, and I'm just I know this is about the heavyweights, but it started with the heavyweights. I just want to jump down a notch and talk about the pay-per-view issue for a moment, because now the fans are up in arms against the pay-per-view price brought to you by DAZN for the Dmitry Bivol versus Malik Zinad. Malik who? Anyway, as you all recall, Bivol was supposed to fight unified light heavyweight champ Artur Beterbiev as the headliner. And that was a fight many people were excited about, including myself. But with Beterbiev bowing out of that and Malik Zinad stepping in, does that really make it worth $70 US for that fight? And the answer is no, it does not. Regardless of the 5v5 fight underneath it, which is Deontay Wilder, Zhai Zhang, Filip Hrgovic, Daniel Dubois, Raymond Ford, Nick Ball, Willie Hutchinson versus Craig Richards, and Hamza Shariz versus Austin Williams. So I really doubt that boxing fans are not going to be interested in purchasing the event to see the recently beaten Deontay Wilder fight Zhai Zhang. But they both lost their last fights and looked awful. Okay. So this event, as we all know, is supposed to be going on June 1st. As I said, if it wasn't for Beterbiev's injury, it would have been a fight to watch. But again, to pay $70, is someone really, I don't know. Okay, I'll stop it there. Okay, because this should be more about the boxers themselves and the broadcasters. But the broadcaster kind of they got to make their bed. They got to sleep in their bed. So anyway, let's have another fight on the horizon here. Another heavyweight clash. Unbeaten heavyweight Johnny the Romford Bull Fisher, 11-0, will step up against former Bridgeweight world title challenger Alan the Savage Babbitt. We haven't mentioned his name in a while, but he's 12-1, 11 knockouts. And they'll headline his first ever show at the Copper Box Arena in London. And that'll take place July 6th. Again, shown live via DAZN. Both fighters are extremely popular. Fisher has his Romford Bull Army and the all-action Babbitt charisma. Personality makes him a fan favorite inside and outside the ring. I would have to imagine when they're talking about fan favorite, they're talking about British fans. Johnny Fisher said, "I have no words other than I'm locked in and ready for the hardest fight of my life." Babbitt, for his part, said, Johnny and his dad have definitely overordered this time in picking me for this next fight. I'm going to enjoy teaching this posh boy some very savage lessons. I look forward to the fight, but no university education can give Johnny the appetite for what's coming his way. Fair enough. So, speaking of the heavyweights, let's continue. WBO number 12 heavyweight contender Jermaine Franklin. Remember that fella? 22-2, 14 knockouts, will appear in the 10-round DAZN main event against Devin Vargas, 22-10, 9 knockouts on Thursday night at the Wayne State Fieldhouse in Detroit, Michigan, USA. And on Tuesday, by the way, a couple of days ago, Franklin showed off his skills at a media workout at the Clog gym, the world-famous Clog gym in Detroit. He said, "Fighting in my home state again feels great. I love the energy. It's like an aura, and it feels great," said Franklin. "What I learned in those 2 fights in Europe is that everything isn't fair, and I don't look to the refs to clean up everything. Fight to the best of your ability and don't pay attention until he stops you. I was already mentally tough, but those 2 fights over there brought out a new ferocious in me. I did a lot of stuff to get me anywhere. If the ref doesn't stop me, you better get out the way." Now, it's interesting he says this because it does pop up in this Fury Usyk battle with the ref stepping in, and also Usyk not delivering that shot he could have delivered and knocked out Tyson Fury. Anyway, there's a trainer out there, you might know him, Andre Rozier. He believes that Tyson Fury had to do more in the crucial championship rounds against Oleksandr Usyk in order to win. He admits Fury was rocked badly in the 9th round, obviously, before recovering brilliantly, he says, but he was still unable to pull the fight back in his favor. Usyk, or as they said on TV there, Usyk, finished the bout stronger after Fury dominated the middle rounds, and a big push towards the finish line was enough to give him the win. Rozier, one of boxing's most respected trainers, has had his say on the contest and why he thinks Fury lost. He said, "I think Usyk won. I was pulling for Fury, but he didn't do enough in the 11th and 12th rounds to pull it off. You know you're behind. Even if you have an idea, you have to turn it up. You have to turn up the volume." And he did not turn up the volume. So there you go. Teddy Atlas chimes in. We all know Teddy Atlas as the former trainer and now analyst. Says the referee would have stopped last Saturday's fight between Tyson Fury and Oleksandr Usyk in the 9th round if it hadn't been the Gypsy King who was hurt. Luckily, the referee's decision not to stop the fight didn't alter the outcome. There would have been a massive backlash, says writer Michael Collins, boxing247.com, if Fury had won a decision because of the referee's failure to stop the contest. Atlas is glad the referee, Mark Nelson, gave Fury a standing 8 count rather than stopping it because it allowed both fighters to show their magnificence. What Atlas didn't say is whether the same referee would have stopped the fight to give a standing 8 count if it were Usyk who was hurt in the 9th round. Would he have made that move? Usyk isn't as popular as Fury, so that factored in the referee's decision whether to save him like he did Tyson. Neither fighter looked especially brilliant in the final 3 rounds, we all admit. Usyk looked tired and failed to go after Fury to finish him in rounds 10, 11, and 12. And as for Fury, he didn't land much of anything in the final 3 rounds and looked tired and old. Which brings me to the point. Should they both possibly retire? And that is something that over in the UK, they are talking about. Cole Froke, one of Britain's top fighters or retired top fighters. Realistically, despite Usyk's win, and with wins now coming over Fury and Anthony Joshua, does Usyk have anything else to prove? The answer is no. Frock said he's got nothing to prove. He's beaten AJ twice. He's now beaten Tyson Fury. He is the generational great for me. Usyk is the man. He's a leader of the pack. When you look back at this generation of heavyweights, you're going to look back and say Oleksandr Usyk is the main man. He dominated. In my opinion, he should retire. He's done everything he needs to do. He's made enough money. He's mastered the game. He's completed boxing. There's nothing left to do. Undisputed cruiserweight, undisputed heavyweight, 37 years old, getting towards 40. So, and he's not the only one getting towards 40, and he's not the only one who's made more than enough money at that top level, including Tyson Fury, which begs the question, should they just simply just both retire and unclog that top line of the heavyweight division? I'll get into some of these names in a second here. Okay, so let's have a quick read, courtesy of our friends over at boxingscene.com, because I wanted to explain to you the IBF's position in all this. As we know, it was the 4 heavyweight belts on the line, including the IBF. But there's a rematch clause in the Usyk Fury contract, as stipulated by Turki Al Sheikh. And by capturing all 4, Usyk now kind of has a decision to make. Yes, it was a split decision, but at the end of the day, he lifted up a special belt at the end of the fight. You might recall, one word on it: undisputed. Anyway, the IBF president, Darryl Peoples, said, a great night of boxing and a great fight worthy of the hype. But now, with word coming Tuesday that former champ Tyson Fury intends to exercise his rematch clause, which will likely lead to an October 12th rematch in Saudi Arabia, the IBF is poised to take its belt away from Usyk. The IBF's mandatory title contender, Croatia's Filip Hrgovic, 17-0, has waited his turn 3 times, according to the spokesperson for Team Hrgovic, and he's not willing to wait any longer as Hrgovic prepares for his June 1st battle against England's Daniel Dubois, 20-2, by the way, 19 knockouts at the Kingdom Arena in Saudi Arabia. It's time, said his people. Okay? Peoples, not people. Okay, hang on. It's time, the spokesperson for Hrgovic's side said. But Peoples, the president of the IBF, says the rules make it pretty clear that Hrgovic is entitled to his title fight. The rule is you cannot have a clause in your contract that guarantees you a return bout, a rematch, that will interfere with your mandatory. It's not a secret among promoters. Everyone, more or less, knows the consequences of having these clauses. We've been down this road before. Okay? He added, as far as the IBF rules go, any reigning champion is going to be able to ask for an exemption. Any reigning champion can ask for an exemption to any IBF rule, he added. So he's asked again, can Usyk ask the IBF to sanction the rematch and keep an undisputed affair again? They have the right to, said Peoples. So why hasn't he? I don't know, Peoples answered. So is Hrgovic Dubois going to be an IBF title fight? I don't know, Peoples said. Right now, Hrgovic Dubois is not for any title. At this point, I'm sure there's people making decisions behind the scenes before they approach me about anything. So there you go. There's how the IBF feel about this. So let's go back to what we've been talking about for 3 years now. It's when I launched Talk and Fight, and everybody I've talked to about this agrees. The top end is clogged, and here we go. Here's some names that I'll bet if I said these names 3 years ago, they'd all be the same. Anyway, belt holders, WBC, Tyson Fury. Belt holders, WBA, Usyk and Mahmoud Char. IBF, Oleksandr Usyk. WBO, Oleksandr Usyk, Joseph Parker. Now, as we all know, this is not totally up to date, as you can tell by the WBC belt holder. But anyway, that would be Usyk. But anyway, let's take a look at the top 5 below. And I might be repeating some names here, but as you recall, I did mention yesterday's ESPN story about the challengers to the various titles. So topping the WBC list is Anthony Joshua, then Frank Sanchez, who got clobbered by Ajit Kabayel, then Efe Ajagba, I did not mention his name yesterday, and then, of course, our favorite hero, Jared Anderson. And by the way, number 6 on that list is Daniel Dubois. WBA, Their top 5 rounds out at Martin Barcoli, number 1, Anthony Joshua, number 2, Daniel Dubois, number 3, then Frank Sanchez, and then Lenier Perro. Oh, and then, by the way, number 6, Mike Perez. So we've got some new faces, okay, that are climbing these charts, moving up the rankings, and they're not really being mentioned much in the media right now, but look out for these guys. On the other hand, the IBF, a whack of names: Filip Hrgovic, Anthony Joshua, Daniel Dubois, Jared Anderson, Frank Sanchez, Ajit Kabial, Zhilai Zhang, Joe Joyce, F.A. Jabba, Otto Wallen. Oh, wow, even Makhmudov's in there. Anyway, so the point matter is IBF's got a string of good names in there. Let's take one last look at the WBO, what they've got. Anthony Joshua, Zhilai Zhang, Frank Sanchez, Jared Anderson, Filip Hrgovic, Fabio Wardley, Daniel Dubois, Ajit Kabayel, Justice Hooney, and F.A. Jabba. So, and Mark Bacoli. And by the way, Jermaine Franklin's in there as well, who I mentioned at the top of this show. He says he deserved to be counted in those listings. So anyway, there you go. There's the clog that we've been mentioning for 3 years. The simple solution: Tyson Fury, Oleksandr Usyk, both of them retire. They've shown us all boxing fans what they can deliver in the ring. Let's see if they can do it. Let's see if they can just take their hundreds of millions, walk away happy, and let these other guys take a run at those top rankings. Anyway, thanks for joining me. Appreciate it very much. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we'll see you later on talkandfight.com. It's been a pleasure. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and drop in your comments from time to time. I appreciate hearing from you.